Hey, we are here to talk about Meshtastic and this node I've been building and designing. I designed this case for me to use on top of the vehicle. There's magnets on the bottom so that it can just attach. Meshtastic uses LoRa, which is very low energy but long range, and it uses radio waves to you can transmit data back and forth, you can transmit messages, you can transmit location, temperature, humidity, things like that. So this case I built uses the rack by WiseBlock or WizBlock, I think, and inside is that, and a GPS, a battery, and everything is inside and nice and safe from the elements. This connector can go to a solar panel. There's one here. 6-watt solar panel, and the battery in there is 6,600 milliamp hours, I believe, so it'll last a long time. And definitely with the solar panel connected, throw it on your roof and go. So we'll talk about the programming and usage of this later. This is just to build this case together, if that's something you want to do. There's plenty of other ones out there, so yeah, we'll get into that right now. Done by using your phone or a separate GPS antenna. This is the part that connects to the board, and the GPS antenna itself, that was 20 bucks. What is next? Batteries. So this battery is a bit overkill, but we wanted to be able to power this thing for a long time without any worries. Prices don't change much. For the size, these batteries are 2 for 20 bucks. The only gotcha on these is to make sure that you repin these, because the power is backwards. So if you line up it here, you want the positive lead to be on the left and the negative lead to be on the right. So we will be repinning that. These are 2 for 20 bucks. This is 6,000 amps, I think, or milliamps. Where is it? There we go. Yeah, 6,600 milliamp hours. So this will power it for a long time. We did also get an upgraded antenna. These are 2 for 1150. Big, tall. Should help increase the range. And the last piece is this solar panel. And I picked this solar panel, one, because it's 6 watts, which is a good amount to keep that battery charged and running 24/7. The other nice part is that it comes with this extra little cable, and this will connect directly to the USB-C. And then this part connects or sits outside of the box. So this can be semi-sealed. You can disconnect, move this, connect it back to the solar panel if wanted, or connect it straight to a USB. This is the micro. And charge the battery that way, or connect it to your computer. That way this is kind of more standalone-ish. So it's the battery, solar panel there, and then the last part you will need will be case, 4 screws. These are wood screws, number 2 I believe, and then 4 magnets that are here, and they're embedded on the inside. So yeah, that's it. Those are the parts. So now we'll do some assembly. Alright, so now let's start connecting things to this board. This is a GPS or a GNSS sensor. First we're going to connect the antenna. And these are small, but you're gonna just kind of line it up, kind of see when it feels like it's in the right spot, and then just pop it in, a little pressure. Now connect this to the board. I'm gonna connect this one to the back. There's a slot D here and the pins here. Do the same thing, line it up, feel when it's in the right spot, and then actually there is a rectangle here that's printed on the board that will tell you exactly where it is, or it's supposed to go. That goes there. I'm gonna put a tiny screw in there. Hopefully this little guy works. Toss that in there, and then we have our bag of screws here. We see there's a little gold-plated semicircle there that goes into a PEM. And then one of these tiny screws should do the trick. Let's see, we may need a smaller screwdriver. Let's see if we have that. Where is it? Okay, nope, that's Phillips. Those are Torx bits. Alright, back of the right screwdriver. There we go. These tiny little guys on the end. And into there. Screw that guy in. Let's see the board moving down, and now it is snug. So that's that. We're going to orientate this way. So it is out of the way. Actually, this is going to end up going all the way over here. So we will orientate it there alongside the board, since the mount on the board that we made is over there, is on the other end. Now I'll get a half twist also. Alright, so that's the GPS antenna. You can run it without it as long as it's connected to your phone, and then it will use your phone or tablet's GPS instead, but this makes it a little more standalone, which is what we want for all of this. Next will be the Bluetooth antenna, and there are markings on here. This one says BLE, Bluetooth, and this one says LoRa, which is the LoRa antenna, 915 megahertz, I believe. Same thing, SMA type connector. Line it up so it feels like it is good and home in the right spot. And then slight pressure. That one is in, and that one is good. Next we're going to do the main antenna. Same thing. Except we're going to connect it to the LoRa here. And that goes boom, right there. And that is dandy. Now we are going to boot this board up, so I am going to attach the main antenna, which is this guy. So that will screw into here. Just needs to be snug. The reason we're doing that is because you don't want to boot up a board or turn it on without an antenna connected, or else it could damage the internal unit. Next part will be fixing this guy, our battery, so we can switch the leads. Okay, I'm going to use a tiny screwdriver here, a flat head, and if you I don't know what this thing is focusing on, but there. We want to bend up the tab here and then pull on the wire. And do this through the GoPro. Pull that up. Sometimes I use a knife. Can you see that? Maybe we'll use a knife. Come on. Silly little guy. Now we're going to switch to an X-Acto. There we go. We got one. One's out. And we'll do the negative. Good. That one popped out, and all I'm going to do is push it into the slot next to it. There. I'll go back and get our positive one. And push it in. If you ever get these mixed up, that part with that sticks out here, that goes down, and there's a little part here, that's the catch for this clip. So we'll push that into there. And now we have successfully switched polarities on this guy. So now I'm just pressing down on the little tabs so they stay seated. We go back to here. This is our battery connector, where we're going to connect it. And see that side there, it's marked red. That is for the positive. And there's a slot here. That slot coincides with the, come on wires, with the ridge that is there. And so that goes to there. Double check before you press it in that our antenna is connected, which it is, along with the Bluetooth antenna. Press it in. That's it. I haven't charged this battery, but it should be live. There it goes, it's booting up. So we are set there on the assembly. We probably need these two screws. We also will need these 4 larger machine screws to mount the board to the what do you call it? The board to the casing. The rest we're going to call extra. And to slide them into the bag, I'm going to put this magnet here on the outside of the bag. And then use that to grab all these. Right? And it just pulls them all in. Close the bag. Pull the magnet. There you have it. All those tiny little screws in a bag with the help of a magnet. Alright. So that is it for that. Next to the flashing of this device, because it probably has an old old firmware on it, and we want to update to the latest, so we'll do that. I don't know if we can screen record somehow. Maybe we'll point the camera at the screen. That should look pretty terrible. Right, so here's the case that I designed. Told the battery in all of these units. There's a little slot here, that's for the Bluetooth antenna, and for the GPS antenna goes here. Yeah, so it screws together like so. You can put magnets in here to attach it to the roof. I'm out of those magnets right now, so we'll have to do that later, but I just super glue them in. And this was also made so that this bottom piece can be made in different ways if you want to slide it onto the side of a roof rack or a rooftop tent, something like that. We can do all that. So we're going to now put all this inside of here. To do that, first I'm going to disconnect the battery so that I can disconnect the antenna, because it will need to be routed through the casing. First we're going to take our Bluetooth antenna and we're going to want that to be just looking at how we're going to fit all this in. Bluetooth antenna has double-sided tape. We'll pull that off. Boom. And that will go down here. This just puts it up high and away from the board so that hopefully you can get the best connection to it when you want to connect to your phone. All that's going to go into there pretty nicely. Let's see. GPS antenna needs to go over here. Pull off that piece of double-sided tape. It will sit here nicely into that little slot. That's there. And now for the next part will be, actually let's push this guy through. You see on the antenna connector, it has a flat spot. That flat spot corresponds to the flat spot here, and goes like that. And shove this guy in. It should sit nicely so it doesn't rotate easily on its own. Let me make that a tiny bit tighter. Put on the star washer and then a nut. Screw that down. Get yourself some needle nose, and I'm holding on to the nut on the inside so it stays indexed in that slot. And snug that guy down. That is looking good. Did it spin? Okay, doesn't need to be super tight. Connect our antenna. It screws in. Should bottom out on the antenna, and we don't want it to bottom out on the nut in there. That is nice and snug now. Rotate that up, and this rotates freely depending on how you mount it. So that is out of the way. Now I'm going to put these screws in. Before I've used some other screws, so I'm gonna try these first that came with it. These are machine screws, not the best for going into plastic like this. Oh, before that, I want to connect this USB-C. This is our power lead in. That goes there. Bend that up. All right, now you can see about attaching this board to a module and see if how well these machine screws work. I don't think I sized them for this. Nope, that works pretty good. 1, 2. Don't tighten them all the way down our first go. You need some wiggle room to get everything lined up perfectly. 3 and 4. Good. Now we can snug the rest of these guys up. Now it's small machine threads going into plastic, so definitely don't overdo it. In fact, once you start feeling a good amount more tension, stop so you don't break anything. We're going to push that antenna down and this one down. And there's still room in here to put other accessories, like if you want to put the temperature humidity sensor, which would be great. And kind of a fun thing, it'll automatically send that information over, and then you can know how hot it is inside this little box, which may be higher than the real ambient temperature, but that is okay. Go ahead and plug in the power now, double checking that the antenna is connected, like so. And that's it. I think I'm going to make a little board that fits in here to separate the componentry from the battery, but the battery is on these rails, so it's not going anywhere. Okay, that finishes it up basically. Keep that guy down, take this guy, screw it down. That'll be it. That's all set to go. Where is the solar panel? Now you can mount the solar panel. That's a 1/4 If you need help mounting that to something, always just let me know, and that will simply plug into here, and then you have solar. Now we'll keep this thing pretty
right. So here's the case.
Well.
I designed
why that started. It'll keep that battery charged up really well. Keep this thing running for indefinitely. Good to go. Where is the other case and battery? Here it is with the screws taken off and the magnet. So we went through a ton of mud and everything, so only a tiny bit of mud got in here. Maybe that's something we can work on with the seal. Went through rain too, so I think that is pretty good. The battery is with the double-sided tape up above everything, so everything should drain out if it did happen to get in here. But yeah, that is our little unit. So we'll start throwing these on top of cars, driving around, and see how it does. A little update on the case. So it's been redesigned, and now it has a little TPU gasket that fits into the groove to keep it watertight. I had a tiny bit of water ingress in this one, so I'll try this and see if it solves it.